Well, hello there. This is Skip McCoy. Welcome to Riversoft University. This segment is about the sales cost report. Sales are items that have been invoiced and invoice adjustments. If an item is closed but not invoiced, it is not a sale. It is an unbilled item. The sales cost report, or sales report for short, is the primary sales reporting tool in Riversoft Office. You get to it from right here within the accounting group. It's called sales cost, or you can get to it from the reports area. This is the selection screen. Kind of looks like the cockpit of a 747, but it's a powerful report. The primary filter for the report is the invoice creation date range. Only invoiced items on invoices created between the dates are reported. To further narrow the items being reported, a service date range can be added. When doing a Medicare cost report for last year is the service date range, while the invoice date range is the first day of last year through today. This is because there might be invoices created through today for Medicare services happening last year. So doing that report, my invoice creation dates would be the first date of last year all the way through today, but my service dates would be just last year's date range. Okay, I'm going to go and clear this because I'm going to do a shorter report for the purposes of this video, and I'm just going to be I'll do this. There you go. There are three unique features of this report that will help you get the most accurate cost and margin figures possible. That's the overhead rate, the use average cost per skill, and the salaried base rate skill. The overhead rate is right here. It can be set to a value between 0 and 30%. And is used to increase the cost of each transaction to more accurately reflect employee costs such as FICA, Medicare, 401k, and insurance. Okay, another feature is if you know from your general ledger what your average cost per skill is, you can enter these figures in the top right of the screen and click Use Average Cost per Skill. So these figures came from the GL, and that's what it really cost me to do an SN visit, a PT visit, OT visit, and so on. If I've got those figures in here and I click on Use Average Cost per Skill, instead of the pay information entered on each visit, the entered average cost on the screen will be used. This technique yields the most accurate margin calculation. However, if you have many salaried employees and do not want to use the average cost per skill technique, you can enter an average cost per hour for each salaried employee using the selected salaried base rate skill. If you do not have the salaried base rate skill, call Riversoft and we'll add it for you. Once the pay rates have been added for all your salaried employees for this special skill, the sales report will use that rate to compute the cost of your salaried visits. The unbilled report will also utilize this special rate to calculate cost for visits. So that's your third option to get the most accurate cost on these visits as possible. Okay, let's move down to the filters. You can choose by client type, by employee type. You can choose to report just one employee. You can choose by item type, by transaction type. And if you just wanted an invoice adjustment report, you can unclick these two. And this will just give you invoice adjustment. So this is how you do an invoice adjustment report using the sales report. And then there's show client data. This becomes important when you begin creating custom client reports, which I'll talk about when we get to discussing the total options feature. Okay, by default, I'm going to choose just one office. The report provides a total by office, and within that by payer class, and within that by payer, and finally within that by client. And that's right down here, office, payer class, payer, client. So when I run the report, this is what it's going to look like. Whoops. I ran it for too much data. Let's see how long this is going to take. I'm running almost a year's worth here. It didn't take too long. 14,000 rows. That's a lot of rows. I'm probably going to get about a 100-page report. I got a 787-page report. That's a little too much data for me. So I'm going to narrow it down just to more recent. Okay, and this will just take a few seconds. Okay, that's a nice report because I've got my client totals and then payer totals and payer class totals. So that's a nice report. It's got all my detail here for every single item that was invoiced. That's a useful report, but what if I wanted a report that just listed the clients who had sales within my date range by zip code? It's queries like that where the sales report really shines. Because the sales report sorts and totals by up to 5 criteria, right down here, and there are more than 30 criteria to choose from. There's actually almost 40. Creating a client list by zip code with sales data is going to be simple. So first thing I'm going to do is clear this. So I've got a nice clean levels of sorting, nothing sorting right now. Okay, I'm going to choose my primary grouping, which is zip code. My secondary grouping, which is going to be client. And then I'm going to run the report. Okay, so now that's a lot of data. Oops, I didn't do totals. There's my totals. So I've got a total for Fluker, Schmetak, and you know what? And there's a total for Zip. What I really wanted was a client list zip code, and I don't want all these details. So I suppress the details. Look at that. Here's a list of the clients who got service with their sales, their net by zip code. That's pretty cool. Would you like information about the client on the report instead of just a name? Well, that's where this comes in handy. Yes, I would like the address and the diagnosis codes. Generate it again, and there you go. Now I've got a client list by zip code with information about each client. That's pretty neat. The total options and suppress details. Total options are right here, and the suppress details is right here. Let you use this report to do your Medicare cost reports, your state cost reports, and what if reports that only you can dream up. Examples of how to run some of these are in the I button. So if you go to the I button right here, we're going to give you step-by-step instructions for how to run your Medicare annual cost report, which is Medicare visits by discipline, Medicare unduplicated patients by discipline, and there's instructions for the New York cost report. Well, now you're an expert on the Riversoft sales report. Use your power wisely. This is Skip McCoy signing off for Riversoft University.